Anō mai, haere mai, whakatau mai, hoki mai. Welcome to our Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board Week for today. We'd like to start with our karakia for our week. E tō mātou e te rangi, kia kaputo ingoa, kia kai mai tau rangatiratanga, kia mea te au pai ai ki runga ki te whenua, kia rite anō ki tō te rangi, o mai kia mātou e anei e taro mō mātou mō tēnei rā, murua o mātou hara, me mātou hoki e muru nei kai he whakawaia, e ngari whakarongi a mātou e te keno, ngā hoki te rangatiratanga, te kā me te kororia, ake, āmene. Kia ora. Have any apologies and conflicts? Apologies and conflicts of interest?
Apologies from Chicky.
Okay,
I'll second the apologies.
Public forum, we've got our public forum. So I'd like to ask Linda Bracken. Come up and speak this
morning. Linda Bracken, Kaikohe Business Association, plus a whole lot of other hats that I wear in different areas. So congratulations, we haven't seen a lot of you for your first business community board meeting. I tend to come and just give an update and often have some questions with regard to the community. So I've got a couple here. Working with Laurel Bellwood, we all know that Recreation Road has been undergoing some development with Sports Road. And when they were about to work on the car park area, they needed to move the planter boxes. So I'd asked Laurel to find out who was actually in charge of looking after them, and was there any opportunity for them to be repurposed and maybe gifted to someone like the senior citizens to give them a little wee veggie plant box there. She was not successful in getting any feedback from any of the people, ownership, and I believe at one stage they thought it was Wakatihahi or something. Yep, got it, thank you. But we haven't been able to get any feedback saying can we keep them in Kaikohe, can we repurpose them, can we donate them? So I'm not sure who to follow up on that, if that can be just part of the record there. The other thing with that area was we were promised a report after the trial had been put in of that roadway. ARCO did some development in that area and put in the humps, which I was told can be removed if they didn't work, and a whole lot of different signage to slow traffic. My understanding has been successful in slowing the traffic, but it is still a main bypass. Is there any reports or is there any follow-up for that area itself? I'm trying to think of some other. If I think of some other things, can I come back? Just raise my hand and go, because I can't keep notes. Did I say something to you?
That would be in relation to the speed bumps.
Part of what we've been working on as Kaikohe Business Association is a project and a draft document which is how to make Kaikohe safer. So safer Kaikohe together. Part of that is looking at slowing traffic throughout town and the concerns happening around that. Also, Chicky has asked me to facilitate a meeting talking about the motorbike and car incidents in town, where we've got a lot of activity that is not desirable with them either doing wheel stands or doing wheelies burnouts within town. There was a document produced that showed the proposed speed humps throughout the city. I don't know how accurate that document is or whether there's been an update, so who would I contact to get some current information about what is being proposed? There's been several discussions as well when you're looking at planning for the city of other ways that we can slow traffic, I think, John, you mentioned, and I've forgotten the word, it's a chicane barriers, so it's just getting some information on that. The meeting is planned for next Wednesday night. So if I could have some feedback for that. Thank you very much for that.
Kia ora, thank you. Just a suggestion that if you have any further thoughts and partai questions that you'd like to, often you leave the hui and come back, oh, I should have said this, I should have said this. Please forward it through.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
And aroha mai, just a reminder that it's 5 minutes. Every speaker is given 5 minutes. I forgot to prompt that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. Okay. Mr. Riley?
I endorse what Linda just said about the bikies on the footpaths. Someday, somebody like me is going to get bold, and it's not good enough. That's something the police have been notified about, but I think the community board should follow up on it. Two things, Madam Chair.
You'd like to give those three to follow.
Careful for the cords, please. Careful for the cords on the ground. Watch out. Careful for the cords.
You must have somebody looking after me. The top picture is long grass on the roadside by the waste station. That is part of a council contract to be mowed regularly. It's not been done for quite some time. I took it up with the past CEO, nothing happened, but it's still not good enough. This kind of lackadaisical maintenance in this town is not acceptable. Doesn't happen in Kerikeri, it's not going to happen here. I did have another photo of grass growing in a gutter. Grass growing in a gutter doesn't happen overnight. That means our street sweeping program needs upgrading on a better regular basis. And that can be attended to, because there's nothing better than a town that's got tidy streets. It's the first thing that visitors look at when they come to a town. The second picture there, Madam Chair, is pine trees on a 2-acre block just opposite the waste station. That has been part of a movement that I've been involved with for 25 years. I want to see it in community ownership before my allotted time is up. And the basic reason for that is, with the acquisition of that ground, we can have another football field, and best of all, we can have a full-size Olympic swimming pool. With the added advantage on that site is you don't have to have a problem with drainage, because the drain from the town is 15 feet below the ground at that spot. Simple, easy disposable of water when it's needed to be. And the trees, they could either be an adventure park, we could turn them into something, or the present owner is quite happy to remove them. And the slash that we have remaining would make really a monster Guy Fawkes night one day. About 40 odd years ago, we had Guy Fawkes in town and a fireworks display. Strangely enough, I was the only one that had a construction blaster's ticket at that time, so I had a free ticket because they couldn't organise their event without they had a construction blaster there.
2 minutes, Mr. Riley.
That is something that we can do for our town in the future. Just make a note of it, and you can follow it up, and we'll see that something happens before my time is out. Thank you.
Thank you, Matua. Kia ora. Our next public forum speaker is John Luisi. John Luisi, aroha mai.
How are you? I just put my name down just in case I had something that would be worthwhile bringing up here. I'm here to support a couple of people that have issues and how we can address them and how it goes to the final area, which is, I suppose, council. So thank you very much for having me to stand up and say that.
Tēnā koe tātou. I don't know my pronunciation is not good. Inga Friday?
Ko inga we took Friday, no Ottawa. So I'm here to talk about Ottawa PM10 road dust hazard, health hazard, nuisance. We have a high level of dust and traffic on our roads. We get large amount of dust drift, and even to say after heavy rain and flooding, it's maybe 1 or 2 days before the dust is back up to being at a pretty bad level again. There was a few of us that never got dust suppressant this year as well, outside of Kaikohe-Hokianga. We've also got a community garden that we didn't get started this year because it's next to the road and we didn't get dust suppressant as well. So it's just too bad to just go into the garden and just got even like if people are driving slow, there's still a lot of dust. Yeah, and even with the trucks, they can go slow too and it just kicks up lots of dust. I have a trough up the top of our hill. It's probably maybe 150 to 200 meters from the road, and it's got thick road silt behind the trough. And our house is way closer to the road. So we're dealing with a lot of health issues with coughs, respiratory issues in our valley, especially with me too. I've done that with my asthma and my mukupuna too, always having coughs too. And we do have a lot of kaumātua kuia and mukupuna in our valley. We've got a kōhanga as well that really needs to have tar sealing outside the kōhanga. And in the past they were told to just close the windows, and when you're in summer, in the heat of the summer, that's not on. But they do dust suppressant now, but they really need tar sealing. Yeah, some other remedies, some other things we would like is clarification on the truck routes. So the trucks are coming through Nanahi Road, where they need to go through Ottawa. That's why they got tar sealing on that other side of the valley. And bridge wasn't up to spec, so at that time with the logging, they were coming past us while the bridge was getting fixed. But even after the bridge was fixed, the trucks still come our way. Even though the forestry has finished at the moment, they will be starting again as they're replanted at the moment. So we'd like to clarification, where the trucks need to be going and do they know where they're meant to be going and who's enforcing it, like even with their GPS or the businesses knowing where the trucks are not meant to be or where they're meant to be. We'd like to get signage as well to slow down the traffic. We had asked for that in the past, and when we had a big meeting with council and NZTA and everyone else, and at that time they were sending a man around the motu to check the road speeds, and we were told that they had to do these other areas first because they were more important and that they'll come to us sooner or later, but I don't think they'll come to us at all. And it's been 3 years? 3 years so far? Yeah. Even too, if maybe you could investigate that new metal that we've heard about that's less dust, if we could trial that in Ottawa as well. And also to extending the dust suppressant because it's only a short distance, I think it is about 30 metres now. The bus travels way past that. Yeah, so even if we can look at extending that bus present zone for Kaikohe-Hokianga along the roads. Yeah, I think that's all we would like to say.
Is there any comments on the members?
Tēnā koe. The suppression for TOA has been brought to our attention, so we are aware of the issue, but thank you for clarifying more. Have you put in, or your others, do you know, have put in requests for service to draw attention to that through the council process?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So if you want to email Tanya and myself, who are the South Hokianga reps, and you want support to, if you want to email us, we can follow up further around all of the things that you've raised. Specifically, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you. Ngā mihi ki a koe whaia.
Give me the number of the RFSs if you have it, that would be helpful.
And we have Jenny McDonald, Google McDougall. Oh, the mic.
Kia ora. There's three of us here from Manaaki Tinana Trust. We're the administrators of Hokianga Community Gym. That's, if anyone doesn't know about it, it's a community gym based in Rawene. Currently we have 150 members and climbing 153, I think we've got to. Lizzie Poe's our treasurer, Dylan is our chairperson. We've got huge capacity issues because in our particular section of the Hokianga Community Shed, which we share with the Sailing Trust, we have half that shed. This is on the Rawene domain. I think we've got a fire restriction of 9 people in the building. If everyone turned up at once, we'd have a real issue because we've got 150 members. We have just come to ask for your support in principle. We want to build a new building. We're working with council at the moment. We've talked to Jesse, we've talked to quite a few people in council. Robin Rawson, who's your new parks and domain planner, is working with us. We're also working with a building company because we have to get a geotech report, we've been told, particularly because that area of the Rawene domain floodplain. We've also applied to go on the strategic plan for the community board. So basically we're just here to say we're still here. We are really serious about this project. We want a community hub at the Rawene domain. So not just for us and the classes that we would like to run and not keep renting the town hall to run classes. And so we're just basically asking for your support and keeping you informed about our vision for a community hub, which will also include, hopefully, men's shed and sailing trust.
Kia ora. I'm Dylan August. Also I'm the trainer at the gym, and so I'm aware of the problems we're having with space and that. Also the fact that we sublease this building with the sailing club, and Renee, who's the chairman of the sailing club, is also a member of the community gym. He would have liked to have come along today, but he has a class with our tamariki in Rawene at the school. And so we're working together. They're in the process of trying to build another sailing shed further down the road, and hopefully down the line we'll be able to move into the other bays of the shed for our gym. We are really struggling with the room. Sorry.
2 minutes.
We are really struggling with the room and the amount of members that we have using using this gym. Trinity, you know what it's like to not have enough room in a gym. And we really do ask that we can have your support in this area. We also have Neil Shaw, who's working with us, and we're getting so we've got a registered men's shed, Hokianga men's shed, which is coming on this bit of area, this land where we're wanting to have this community hub. And so we're wanting to all collaborate and work with each other, and we'd love that support and that from you to just work with us.
And we'll be back asking for funding at some stage.
We're the squeaky wheel.
Yes, we are. We're not going anywhere. But just one more thing, at the you will be considering today an application that we have put in. We've received community board funding of $5,000 to do a part 2 of a community consultation, so that we know we've got community support and we ascertain the need. We've already received that funding. We're just asking for a change of provider to help us do that second part of the community consultation. So it was ARCO, that's what we were funded for, and we've done the first part with them. We would like to shift to Neil Shaw, because we feel he's got the skill set, he's local, he understands us. We feel that would further our project better. Yeah.
Well done, thank you.
Good enough.
Can I ask a question?
Okay,
so you've got the gym,
yeah.
You've got the men's shed and the sailing club, all in the same area, and they're all looking for space. And you call it a community hub, and you're working together to do it. Have you considered, instead of just working together, creating another organisation of which you're all members? So there's one organisation that's doing the whole thing. We're one project. So think of like the sports balls around the place. All the clubs get together. They create another organisation whose sole goal is to create this. That way, there's no crosstalk. There's no, you've got one organisation that has to agree amongst itself rather than all organisations.
Yeah, agree. Totally.
We totally agree with that. Because we also, on this domain, we also have the horses. Yeah. We have the pump track, which Jesse has something to do with. So we also have the recycle area, and we want to put that under the one,
committee.
One committee where we can all work with each other. The last 3 years we've just got to this place now where we're actually agreeing on things and we're working together collaboratively with each other, and now we need to, like you say, take it to that step, the next step, and definitely agree.
We sort of envisage a management board for the Rawene domain, where there's perhaps one representative from each of these groups. So that makes it easier to deal with council. Council know who to come to. But as separate groups, we're all either charitable trusts or incorporated societies. So we need to have that as a standalone as well, especially for funding. If you just come under one group, you only get one lot of funding.
Except you would hope to get 5. You would hope to get a bigger set of funding, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at this. If you're 4 buildings, I imagine that you're all going to go out and get your own geotech reports. Okay, you can imagine that one geotech report. Yeah. Well, what it may not cost a quarter, it might cost a half. Yeah. Because they're there, they're doing it, one report. Yeah. And there's instead of 5 20-page reports, you've got 1 20-page report, so you're saving on paper as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
So one quick question.
Another question from
one quick question, Jenny. I'd like to, it's quite important and timely because we've got the long-term planning, and there's obviously going to be some council infrastructure required with all of that. So if you'd be up for a visit, like some of us, me anyway, I'm certainly very keen to go out and have a look, refresh myself.
We'd love you to. We'd love you to. Yeah.
So, you happy for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you see what we're talking about, you get a much better picture of what we want. Yeah.
Kia ora koutou.
Kia ora.
We actually have a Tamati, Councillor Tamati Rakina, who would like to come online right now to speak to dust suppression.
Kia ora tātou, can you hear me?
Aye. Aye.
Ka pai. Kia ora, tēnā koe, Deputy Chair Akelia. O tira tēnā koutou katoa. I just wanted to quickly speak on the dust suppressant issue that was earlier mentioned by our whānau from Otawa. On the 25th of November, I received an email from Puti Tipene about the hui that was between Otawa community reps and FNDC engineers. And then it was advised by Trevor Green that Te Koanga Reo o Wharepunga is not a public school and it's administered by the National Trust and not a Ministry of Education building. So in short, it was saying that Te Kohanga Reo o Taua doesn't or is not within the matrix to have the dust suppressant along there or to have any tar sealing laid down. And also in the roading matrix, it also states that to qualify a section of the road for dust suppressant, the Koanga Reo or the community needs to fit the following 4 criteria, which is number 1, location of houses within close proximity to the road less than 25 metres, traffic volumes 130 plus per day, number of heavy commercial vehicles, which is 30 plus per day, and operating speeds of 65 kilometres plus per day. I think that all of these points of the criteria are just ridiculous in that for a long time, the desperate cry for help from the communities, for example, in Otawa, have just been sitting in the back seat or sitting in the corner of the house and have not been met. So I wholeheartedly support the deputation delivered by our whanaunga today to get something done about the dust suppression in Otawa and many of our roads throughout Te Taitokiro, for example, Matawaia, Orako, Rako Wahia Road, throughout the Hokianga. A lot of our whānau, and actually we all know the health implications that dust has, not in the short term, but for long term for a lot of our whānau members. So if we can have again a review of that from our CE office to see what we can do about getting the job done. Kia ora mai tātou.
Kia ora, Councillor Rakina. Tēnā koe. Move through our agenda. Yes. Oh. Ngā tono kōrero deputations, I'd like to invite Hayley Paul from Sport Northland. Kia ora, Hayley.
Kia ora tātou katoa. Ko Pita i te maunga, ko Wairero te awa, ko Māpari te roto, ko Kohewhata te marae, ko ngā toki matawhāroa te waka, ko ngā hini motu taku hapu, ko ngā hui te iwi. Ko Hayley Paul tōku ingoa, mai ngā whānau Arawahi, me Iruti, mai me ngā whānau Rameka me Whitewood. Kei konei ahau, I'm just here today to introduce myself as the new Mid-North Community Connector for Sport Northland. Laurel recommended that I come and introduce myself today. I'll just let you know a couple of things that I'm doing. So I'm working alongside Catherine Truen. So we're responsible for deliberating over the Rural Travel Fund. Looking forward to those, as well as working alongside our community to connect sport, recreation and active play. So a couple of projects that are coming up for me is the Moerewa Pump Track, Little Primary School. Last year Cheryl was working alongside Deb to get this done. They got their presentation ready, but because of COVID, they were unable to present to the community board. So that's something that I'll be doing, supporting the school with, and hopefully sooner rather than later. And one other thing that I'm doing is pulling together a networking hui for our sports clubs, codes, health and fitness providers, as well as our health providers, and that's just about us coming together and sharing information. And that's more for our community as well, and also for each other, so we know what's going on in the community. Because sometimes, you know, there's that kind of, you know, not everyone's connected. So the idea is to bring everybody together so everyone knows what's happening with each other and in the community. So there'll be one in Kaikohe, and then there'll also be another one over in Kawakawa. So I've just been going around reconnecting myself with Kaikohe, because I'm from Kaikohe. Yeah, I've been visiting a lot of providers. I'm yet to get to reclaim. I got a bit scared knocking on the door.
Just push it open where
So yeah, it's just about whānau coming together, reconnecting or connecting with each other, and yeah, see what's going on in the community. Yeah, I think that's me. But yeah, just kia ora koutou katoa, and nice to meet you all. Congratulations, Jessie and Tanya. Well done. Nice to meet you, Tanunga, and Jamie. And Catherine, nice to meet you. I saw you through the window. I was like, oh, who's that with that lovely hair? And it's you, Catherine. So nice to meet you in person.
Are there any part-time questions from our members? Jessie?
Kia ora,
You have a
Kia ora, Jess. Lovely to have you here. I wondered what mahi that you are planning to do in Hokianga, and is there support for pump tracks outside of schools through Sport Northland or Kahuri?
Well, see, the pump track at the moment, they want to come and apply through the community board, so I don't see why there wouldn't be. But yeah, so my job is just a total for community who want to get things done. I think this was one of Moerewa's aspirations, so yeah, so working alongside the principal at that school and Jen Brown. Yeah, so could be my mahi. Well, I don't know if you know, but I'm already part of the Hokianga Sports Club quite a lot, and so I'm allowed to support out there because, you know, Kaikohe's Hokianga is part of Hokianga, and so I'll just be supporting Hokianga Sports Club a lot, but, you know, the pump track is something Hokianga wants to get going again, probably just to seal it, if the pump track's already there. Redesign. Yeah, well, I've got the connection now who designed the Moerewa pump track. And yeah, you need about $30,000 for that.
We still have another
yes.
question from member Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Councillor Brett. Yes.
Thank you, Hayley. Good to have you on board. But just quickly, I do know Sports Northland was working, and I think it's been put out, and that's their overall strategy for the area. I'm just wondering, with the new community board here, how many have seen it, and can we get a copy of that? So as we begin looking towards a long-term plan, looking at the sports strategy, and therefore what we can do best in this, this orgy there. Overall.
Yeah.
Quite handy.
Should be all right to get a copy of that to you guys. Easy peasy. Yeah.
Tēnā koe.
Ngā mihi. Kia ora koutou.
So we're now moving to our speakers in regards to funding. And so how am I? Sorry, we still have 2 deputations online, so we've now been able to find in cyberspace James Stevens from the motocross track. Kia ora, James.
Oh, kia ora whānau, can you hear me?
Hi.
Kia ora whānau, my name's James Tamanui. So it's been in process around Kaikohe for some time to talk about a motocross track to help get our youth and adolescents off the streets. Obviously to protect our kaumātuas and mātuas around the place as well. I've heard you earlier, sir, and I definitely agree with that. Look, I do feel that they are misunderstood, that they have nowhere to go and have nowhere to showcase their skills or things that they can do. So I wanted to start a motocross track here in Kaikohe to try and get them off the streets and into something that would end up turning into something professional. Now, this is the first time me speaking in public, but I'll give it my best. The track can not only turn into where they can go every day to use it, but it can turn into a racetrack where we can hold professional championships here in Kaikohe in the far north. But it can also go around the motu, so Kaitaia, Keri, Whangarei, if there'd be something they would all look into. And we could start doing stuff like that as well with them up here and get them off for doing something on the street and doing something professional where their careers could end up, you know, actually taking them somewhere. So that's something that's been in the books for a while with us. I'm a local member of the community. I attend the Te Mera Gym and boxing. I've been a part of that for some time. I also work with Te Hauoro and Ngāpui, and you know, I work with the youth a lot in the gym. So these are a lot of things that they've been asking for and they need. And because they don't have places to go, they go around up and down the streets like hooligans and whatnot. It'll just be good to see them have something for them to go to instead of tearing up Kaikohe streets. I could go further into this, but I know I only have 5 minutes. But with that being said, with having sports days and stuff like that at the motocross track, it's a potential for entertainment for this town. We can have our kai carts have a space for themselves to come and sell their food while you know, the local town would enjoy the races from our youth, adults as well, and children. Stuff like that. So these are some of the things that I'd like to put forth. All I'm asking for is for help to find a location in Kaikohe for us that would be suitable, and I guess that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Ngā mihi ki a koe mō tō whakaaro. Thank you for your thoughts and your ideas. Are there any questions?
James, John used to chair. Just, it would be a great idea, because you see a number of street races and what have you going on, which is dangerous, as you're well aware of. I take it you don't have a location in mind, but I was just asking really what area are you looking at? I do know we have, for example, the dirt track further up, which is probably privately owned. But if you had an idea of the size, length, the type of space you're wanting?
The size of the motocross track wouldn't be, I would say, large, but it would be quite big, because if we did turn it into a local daily usage and for sports like motocross, they will need parking space, because most people that travel with their bikes will need trailers and a place to park up for the night, like this the speedway that they have up in going out of town, out of Kaikohe. So they usually park up and stuff like that. But then just a place for the tamariki as well to ride their bikes as well. So I'm actually thinking it will be quite a large area that would be not so big, but large enough to facilitate that, because I don't want, you know, it's about health and safety for me, you know, having kids on with aggressive riders on the same track, it would cause issues, I guess. So I'd rather have sort of like an outer track for the young tamariki who want to learning to ride their motorbikes, and then for the aggressive sport riders who are training to be better at the motocross and stuff to use the inner track. But these are just ideas, but I don't know if the council owns just outside, but the truck stop down Manakakia Road, if you look down, there's actually quite a bit of area down there that could facilitate that. But I guess at the end of the day, it would come down to your guys' discretion and where you would like to put it. But I'd like to have it out of town, so it's not too noisy for our kaumātuas and our people that are working. So Manakahia can be quite busy and loud enough for traffic. So you're definitely thinking about the community and that sort of things as well.
Kia ora. Tēnā koe, James. We have also online today Shane Barber in regards to the Mangamoka community plan. Kia ora, Shane.
Tēnā tātou. Camera's on. Tēnā tātou te whānau kei whanahau ngā kaiwhakahaere o tēnei o ngā wanga putake e pānu ki a tātou no tēnei kānga o tātou Mangamoka. Whenu me mi kon kia papatunu ki takoto mai nei ki a rangi nui e tuhi o nei. Mō tere rāranga te hara mai mo ngā mea katoa, ka ti. Me mi kon kia koutou ngā kaiwhakahaere o te poari hapuri, mō Hokianga ne Kaikohe. Me mi kon kia tātou. We're here with a team of 3 here today to present a plan which has been in part of our development for our local community. A bit of background of this community. Mangamoka and surrounding areas are made up of 7 principal hapu, Ngāti Kiore, Kotutaka, Te Ori Kōpura, te ori o te aho, kia whakakauri tihutai as well as te uri mahoi. And we're the descendants of the First Nations hapu that have been here for many, many generations. Our whakapapa, our kōrero about maunga tell us about who we are, and descendants of Nukutawhiti, as well the waka Ngātoki Matawhāuru, as well as Māmari. And so we're here today to present our plan. A bit of background about Mangamoka. Mangamoka is situated about 50 kilometres from Kaikohe. We're on the crossroads of North Hokianga. We're the gateway to the North Hokianga as well as the gateway to the far north. We're at the crossroads of the area of Ngāpuhi, Te Arawa. To the west, to the north, we've got Ngāti Kahu, and to the east, Ngāpuhi. So we're on the crossroads and can be seen as in the time of our tupuna, the kingmakers of all those three hapu who make up Te Whare Tapu o Ngāpuhi. So Mangamoka was once a very resilient town back in the 60s. There were two banks, there were a grocery shop, a butcher, a hardware shop, a palm company shop. And back at that time, we serviced a fairly wide community from Onowera, o Mahuta, to the west into Mangataipa, Te Kai, and of course Mangamoka. So it was at one time a town that serviced mainly the farming community, but also our Māori community, which is made up of two marae, Mangamoka marae and Mangataipa marae, who are close in whakapapa, Teina Tuakana. And over the years, we've had very little opportunity to participate in a forum, with the perception that that we were an important part of a structure set up on the Local Government Act that supported local councillors. We found that there was an adverse change when we were absorbed into the Far North District Council as one super council, and that had a big effect on our ability to, number one, represent ourselves, but also represent our wawata and the things that are important to our community. Over the past 20 years, we've had many challenges in regards to a simple facility that would accommodate our local community, and that was public toilets. We were given a glorified long drops. It started off with a tank, it then ended up into a tin shed, and now we've got a plastic facility, which the services not only local people, but the many people who go past, including the Te Araroa Trek. We've had about 1,500 people through the Te Araroa Trek this year that have come through our community and have had the response of our role as kaitaki to manaki the people who come into our community. We're inspired to have support from the council over the last couple of years. We had a grant of $5,000 some years ago to get some signage here in Mangamoka, and more recently we got support to install internet here into our facility, which is the old hotel in Mangamoka, and a hub in Mangamoka, of course, as well. So we're inspired, and we've got a whole new generation of people now taking on the responsibilities to move us forward into a place I think that is important for us as a local community. We have a long history. We have lots to offer. We've been affected by the COVID, the closure of the State Highway 1 for the last 4 years. And that's had a big impact on us and ability to maintain our resilience, to actually take advantage of about 1,000 cars that used to go past here. And we were able to collect small amounts of money to our local shop, who's just surviving because of our situation here. So I've got Shane and Trace with me today, our new generation. So welcome you, Shane.
Yeah.
You're going to be part of the next part.
Okay, so so basically how this came about was I grew up here in Mangamoka, moved away to Auckland, and when I came back here, there had been nothing changed. in the realm of outlets for rangatahi. So that's how this spawned our desire to want a hub for our youth, as well as just a space for them to be youths outside, like an active playground and stuff. So we decided as a community group, we came together, and with the help of ARCO and the council, we were able to sit down and as a community come up with a plan, and that is the plan which hopefully you guys can see there. Yeah, through wānanga and further building with our group, we're able to come up with this Mangamuka Township Plan, yeah, which is hopefully you can see there. On pages 21 and 22, it says Mangamuka transformed into a space to help our rangatahi grow and explore their creative side with a proposed youth hub. This space here, which is hopefully going to be that space. We also looked at ways to make our community safer by looking at ways to slow traffic going through here. At the moment, it's 70 Ks, and a lot of our buses stop outside on the corner there pretty much. And it can be quite dangerous when big logging trucks are going past there at 70 Ks. So we looked at ways that maybe trying to get that speed limit lowered. We've also done things in terms of looking at active spaces outside, maybe a playground, a half court for our youth to hang out, as well as a youth hub here. And also not just our local community to hang out, give them a space to hang out, but also manuhiri that are passing through to stop and also explore, our local stores and kōrero. Yeah. From there, we kind of came up with a time frame for building toward our plan being a reality. And this happens to be the first step, which was presenting our plan to the community board in hopes that it'll be adopted in the FNDC's long-term plan. So I'll pass it over to Tracy, and she'll be able to speak about a little bit more what we've done after going through this plan.
So kia ora. Since sharing this news with our Mangamuka community, we have had nothing but positive feedback. Our rangatahi are so excited about the possibilities of this new space, quote, like a dream come true. Absolutely excited, can't believe we have this opportunity to do this. I believe that our young people deserve a safe place to enjoy and hang out, be themselves amongst the community. And yeah, I think that being able to create a safe place for them is like ideal. Here in Mangamuka, we are central to many beautiful places, and I believe that we are the gateway to the far north, and we deserve something awesome, an awesome community space for us to share. Truth is, out here without a car, there's no job. Without a job, money is scarce. So for some, the space is all we have. We are trying to be proactive within our community, and our community group has started an initiative starting with the beautification of this tiny space next to our shop. Just somewhere where we can hang out and share kai away from the main road. And it's a motivation kaupapa driven by our locals here in Mangamuka. To help with this, we have a community stall at our market. All money raised will awhi the small projects that we are creating. We have encouraged fitness with the community as a part of a hauora plan here in Mangamuka. We have kept communication lines open with Waka Kotahi in regards to lowering our speed limits and for safety of our rangatahi here. We have also been looking into local carvers who can help write the story of Mangamuka and bring to life our po. And yeah, I believe that even the smallest actions are steps in the right direction. And yeah, this is us, and we look forward to your support alongside us with this project and whatever the future may bring for us here in Mangamuka. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we're also the kaitiaki of...
you have 2 more minutes.
Okay, we've also got, we're also the kaitiaki aika of the last of the conservation areas in the north to the east of Rakamaka, To the north, we've got Maungatautawhā. To the west, we've got Raitia. So we're right in the centre of those and have a responsibility to be the kaitiaki, to be aika. We've seen the degradation of our rivers to an extent where lots of our tamariki are unable to swim in them anymore. We've seen, and that has been beyond our control. And through the council processes that have not actually been enough to create the number one, the ability for us to maintain our role as kaitiaki. And in the past, and we know the Resource Management Act was an important part of coming to terms with that. In many cases, we've been ignored, whether it's through water issues, that's Northern Regional Council, and as well as the Far North Council, and the commitment that it's necessary if we are to engage as a treaty partner, and be very honest that, we live in the space of our rangatiratanga, our maramutake, and will maintain that. But in saying that, it's important that we engage the whare of the kawaratanga, and which would be our Whare North Council, to continue with
Aroha mai, we may have questions from our members, so I'll have to stop you there, aroha mai. Kia ora koutou, lovely to hear your thoughts, aspirations, and see such an amazing atawa to plan. Your plan is beautiful. So are there any
Shane, well, look, previous community board did put funding in there, and you've done everything right. I really do thank you for all the work you've done. And now what we need to do is to get some of that into the long-term, the current long-term plan. And so what a new community board we've got here, so I think we also need to get up to speed, those that haven't seen your plan, and from you get your key priorities. And if we can move pretty quickly on that to get all that through. But look, I really commend the work you've done there. You've done everything right. And Mangamuka has been neglected, and who would think the long drop is a good enough toilet for all the tourists that you get coming through on your track and on the buses? Just not acceptable the way it has been. So thank you.
Sure.
All for the people in that community, in your community. Kia ora. Okay, we'll move on, and we have speakers in regards to funding application. Hey, Bill Edwards. Evans?
Edwards, my terrible writing.
Yeah. And here I was blaming Dolly. It was
No, it's my writing.
That's your father's writing.
Tēnā koutou katoa, called Bill Edwards, toka whenua. Kia ora, my name is Bill Edwards, and I'd just like to acknowledge everyone in the room and also virtually as well. I've been asked to come here to support Willie Mahi with his vision, I suppose you'd call it, and also to talk a little bit about him. And I'm just going to say first off, I'm here as a private citizen, not involved with anything else. And the other thing is, like, I'm also just giving partial support. I can't give full support, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I've been involved with Willie for about 10 years. Willie has been involved. He has this sort of theme which is called CHI, which is culture, heritage, and identity. And what he says, and I agree with him, is that culture, heritage, and identity is important to who we are and how we relate. And it's an inclusive idea, but what he's done is over the last 10 years, he's been involved with education. So he's done numerous events at Northern College. I got involved about 10 years ago when we were talking about the Northern Wars, and it morphed into having a reenactment of the felling of the Flagstaff at Kororareka, with people dressed up as soldiers and students marching in and pushing over the flagpole. And it was an amazing event, actually. The smell of gunpowder and fear was there, and it was remarkable. And then he's also been exploring the landscape by people running, by doing half marathons. And he's got an idea called the Kaikohe-Hokianga half marathon, where people run along the landscape, and as they're running around the landscape, they sort of discover what the landscape holds. And now he's kind of moved on to, well, let's do a half marathon, but let's do it by running around the airfield, the Kaikohe airfield, which again is laudable and a great idea. And I'm very pleased to see Sports Northland here so that I can make contact with that. But, and when I look at how it aligns with council's policies and objectives, it's smack bang on the button. It really is. I mean, it's about having identity, culture and heritage and intertwining it, also involving it with sport. Where I do have an issue as a ratepayer is that Willie wants whistles and bells, and I don't think it's a whistles and bells idea. I think that what he needs is encouragement to make it happen in a managed way so that it can grow. I would love to see something that starts off and grows and gets bigger, but what he needs is specialist input. He needs input from the council, and he needs input from people that are involved with sport to make him see that vision and to make it happen, because at the moment it's not happening. And it's not happening because Willie is an over-communicator, and so you tend to get a barrage of emails, and it's very hard to see what's going on amongst that barrage of emails. But when you fundamentally drill down to what he's trying to say, it actually makes sense. So I give my partial support to the funding application. I would like to see Willie advance with his idea of the exploring the landscape through sport and heritage. I would like to support him in doing what he's doing, but I think it needs to be cut down a bit, not so quite as big and adventurous first off, and made into a more smaller portions that can be easily digested and then advanced further on. Kia ora.
Any questions?
Yeah, just wondering, you talked about that the Matua Willie has organised these or similar events before. Do you know if he had received funding prior to this application?
No, Willie tends to do it off his own bat, from what I gather. He sells cows. That's my understanding. He's done it all off his own bat. And so what Matua Willie is very generous in that he'll slaughter some cows and sell the cows and do it that way.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Thanks for speaking on behalf. I think you've hit the nail on the head actually in many ways. One of the things is Willie's very enthusiastic. I think some of the ideas he comes up with are really good. But to get the support from local hapu, iwi and the community is key, and I can see the wisdom in you saying, is there somebody that can actually help pull these threads together? Yeah. Makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. I do have a question though, and that is, would he be willing to have that happen? And number two question is, there is an obvious place that they can run on, and that's the cycle track, and you can do 3 half marathons on that length and cover quite a big territory and do the story associated with it. You can, yeah. So is that another thing that Willie would be interested in entertaining? Oh, I think so. Look, I think there's, I think the idea is that sport is not only a venue for athleticism, it's also about learning. And I think the idea of going on a journey, whatever that journey is, allows you to explore your landscape and learn the stories of the place. And I think that's the key. That's the key of what he's trying to say, is that in order to understand who we are and how we relate to the landscape, we've got to get out in the landscape and explore it. And they're very, very good messages, you know. And I think what would be, when I look at the culture and heritage strategy that the council is, for instance, putting forward in their draft format at the moment,
a lot of the things he says actually fit into that package, you know, but it's a matter of packaging it in such a way through people that have those skills in those fields in order to make it happen.
I think we have another question over here from Brenda.
Yeah, so I see on the application that I have, this event is 10 days out, 25th of March.
Yeah.
So I wondered if stalls have been booked, if concert tickets have already been sold, and if runners have already entered this event?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyone else? Thank you so much. I'd just like to thank everyone for coming in. Can I just clarify, community plans when brought to council have 10 minutes, so we weren't giving you 2 or 3 minutes, and then our whānau mangamoka 10 minutes, just letting you know that. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming and for attending our hui this morning. And we give thanks and praise to our Heavenly Father for bringing us together today. Please do travel home safely. That's what John. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very sorry to have the second chance of questioning. I was listening to Tamati who was talking about the Otawa Kohangareo, and I just wanted to say that that's been going on since 2019. We've had quite a few meetings with the council engineers, and still I don't believe that it has been brought up. I've also spoken to members of the NTA as of recently as, say, 5-6 months ago about this one, and they've come up with some suggestions, but still nothing has been done. So I just thought I'd let you know that that's the follow-up that we've been keeping on, putting notified members of the council recently. I'm just hoping that something can be done about it. Thank you.
Yeah, Kia ora, just if I may just make a quick comment on that, and then thanks, Timothy. If I remember the matrix, it's a school's a school. It's not whether it's a public school or not. And I do know we've considered school access that are privately owned in a sense. So that might be something that I noticed the mayor's here. Maybe we can look at, because it shouldn't be making that distinction.
I've just one question as to the same issue for Taua. My concern was that in the response to my email, I was told that the ownership of the whenua, the owners of the whenua, have a responsibility to pay for half of the tar ceiling in front of that Ronganeo. Is that correct?
Public forum is for people to have their say, but it's not for people to ask you questions. Okay. Public forum is a place where you are able to have your say, and I've drifted a little bit off script and allowing others to speak again. Thanks for that. So it's not a time for you to be able to ask questions of the membership of the board. So I'd like to thank you again all for coming to our hui today. Travel safely home. If you would like to stay, we are going for the remainder of our council, our community hui today. You're more than welcome. And I'd like to call that we take an adjournment for 10 minutes. Morning, yes, please. And lunch will be at 12:30. Okay. Ngā mihi.
Okay, we'll get straight back into our hui. Up to agenda item 6, information of minutes. Recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board confirms the minutes of the meeting held December 2022 and the extraordinary meeting held 28th of February 2023 as true and correct. Can I have a mover? Yes. Thank you, Member McVeigh. Seconder. Member Yusuf. Do we have any comments or questions from the mover? Just Member McVeigh? Member Yusuf?
No, I didn't see any corrections.
Okay, thank you. So I'll move that. It's moving. All in favour?
Aye.
Anyone against? Carried. Kia ora.
I'm happy to move the chairperson's and members' reports.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the chair or member reports?
Just Madam Chair, just some things were highlighted here in the members' report. Thank you very much for the reports. I'm just wondering if the concerns have been captured in some manner.
Okay.
That's more of a question, I guess, to start.
So through the chair, in the absence of Melissa, the concerns that have come in through the members' reports will shift into a form of action sheet to be followed up.
Thank you.
What kind of action sheet? It's not going to be in the minutes, is it?
No, not in the minutes. So they can be included in the action sheet if they require, if they're RFSs, but not in the minutes itself.
But not in the agenda, you know we've got the action sheet, it's not going to be there.
No.
Thank you. No other comments, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just move to report, sorry. So it was moved by Member Usage and seconded by Member Edmonds, so you can call for it to be voted on. So we'll just take a vote, or like for?
All right.
Any against? Carried. So 7.2.
Yeah, I'll move it as recommended.
I'll have the second that as well.
Okay, any comments or questions from our members?
No, this has been going on for several years now. I think the council has done the staff done I guess a thorough job, probably more thorough than need be. So I'm happy that out of 19 submissions, most of them, if not all of them, were support. We can't say much more than that.
And the second, Madam Chair, my comment too is it has been going on for a while, and it's good to see that it's now going to be resolved, I guess. So thank you about that.
Thank you. So we'll take it to vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone against? Carried. Thank you. So Madam Chair, in relation to the next item, 7.3, I have tried to get the report writer online with no success to answer your question. Okay. So here, with the grant, I don't know why I'm doing that. So I'll just read the recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board, pursuant to Council's road naming and property addressing policy number 2125, name a public road, Tokapuia Lane, that it is currently addressed at lot 1990 Weherua Road, or Kaiho as per map A4000790. Were there any comments or questions in regard to that matter?
Move in a second.
Oh, sorry.
I'm happy to move.
No trouble. Anyone to second that?
Yeah, second.
And as mover, I have personally no issue. I do know that in the past we were looking at getting names that were more appropriate for the area in various ways. This seems to be doing that. So I don't have any issues myself.
As Viola Dole or Marina suggested, we tried to get the report writer online today, but it was unable to be. I do have a question myself, down where it says what hapu iwi consultation was engaged in. It simply says in the report that it was through email and they had no response. I would like to know from the applicant what other ways perhaps they could have or should have done to contact or made contact with the hapu or the iwi in regards to the names that were raised on the application, which have been approved by the relevant parties. But I still think, well, I would like to question the applicant as to where those names, Māori reference names, were raised from, and where was the translation or back-corded or that they spoke about within the application was raised from. So I myself still have a number of questions that I'd like to put to the applicant. I'm not a that they were unable to get response from them.
So, in relation to that, we can call for it to be voted on, or the members can move it to line so you get questions answered.
Chief, you want to move to that line on the table?
Yes, I'd like to move to that line on the table at this time.
And then you second.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Second?
Yeah.
And we'll just put that to a vote now. All those in favour?
No, you can record that as a no.
Okay. Right, we're up to 7.4, our appointments to management committees.
I'm happy to move it with blank names so we can discuss that.
Would you like to second that also?
I'll second that.
I'll come back to that. Thank you. So, yes, so what we'd like to just do now is just go through and pull out our names. So A is appoints member Jessie McVeigh to the Rawene Committee Board. Appoints member Mike Edwards.
No, I can't.
So,
They meet on Monday nights. I can't do that.
Oh, sorry, apologies, I'm just catching up.
Right.
So not member Edmonds?
No.
I'm happy for the Rawene Community Hall. Is that what we're doing now?
Oh, so we've done Rawene Community Hall.
Oh, okay.
We are now on B.
So that's the Kaya, so Trent, it's closer to where you are.
They meet on Monday nights.
Yeah.
Is that correct, member Edmonds? They meet on Monday nights?
You meet on Monday night once a week, once a month, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. And appoints member Trinity Edwards to South Hokianga War Memorial Hall. I'd like to request that I be in that position, please. Chiki Rudkin to the Tahiti Community Hall, Centre, sorry.
Can we come back to that one perhaps to see how the others play out?
Through the chair, when we had the chair's preview, it was Chair Rudkin who put her name in that.
Good one.
So that's all good. Kaikohe Community Hall would stand to reason it will be Member Gundry.
Member Gundry is online, by the way.
Member Gundry, are you there?
Kia ora.
So appoint you to the Kaikohe Community Hall, please.
Ka pai.
Ka pai. And Trinity Edwards to the Horeke Community Hall?
No.
Okay. Is there anyone able to step into that role for Horeke Community Hall?
Do you know what night they meet?
I'm not aware of what time they all night.
Yeah, I can't, I can't do that without knowing the time.
The recent one, we had a clash with our ratepays.
It was a Thursday, but was that a general meeting?
So we can pass it
Sunday night.
and leave it blank for now and revisit that at a future date.
Thank you. So we'll pass the Horeke Community Hall and revisit that at a future date. Kaikohe Senior Citizens Hall via Chiki Rudkin, Member Chiki Rudkin. Member Vusic to the Limbark Park and Pavilion. Harmony by Member Gundry to the Broadwood Cemetery. Member Gundry, is that okay with you?
Yeah, ka pai.
Awesome. I've been appointed myself, Tanya Felia, to the Mamungu Cemetery. I'm happy to just give that just stay and do that. Member Mike Edmonds to the Cemetery. Thank you, Member Edmonds. Jesse McVeigh, Waiho Te Marama Cemetery. And appoints Jesse McVeigh and Tanya Felia to the Hokianga Harbour Ferry. I'd like to request that Member Gundry take on that from the north side of the ferry. And Jesse with the south side.
I'm happy for my membership.
Member Gundry?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Thank you. And appoints Member John Vusic to the Kaikohe Historical and Mechanical Trust, Finance Village. All good. Thank you.
So with the exception of F, which has no member appointed, all the rest are appointed, Madam Chair, so you can move those if you wish.
Okay, so I'd like to move, you'd like to move those?
Oh, sorry, they were moved by Councillor Vusic and Edmonds originally.
Thank you. So all in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you.
Aye.
Helga.
Our next item on the agenda is our Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board appointment to the Disability Action Group. Recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board appoint member Trinity Edwards as the representative on the Disability Action Group.
You've moved it, I'll second it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all those in favour?
All those in favour?
Right.
Carried. Right. Now we're on to our project 7.6, our project funding report.
I'll move as recommended.
I'll second it.
Oh, thank you. We have recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board note the project reports received, the Hokianga Community Education Trust and the Hokianga Bowling Club, Horeke Family Day and Omanai Marae.
I don't have any comments.
No comments from me either.
Can take a vote on it.
Yeah. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Right. Funding applications, 7.7. I'll take these as read. As taken.
The recommendation is read with any amendments from?
Yeah, look, I mean, sorry, someone move that or can I move that?
You can move that.
Okay, I'd like to move as recommended but with one change. Okay, and that is A, approve the sum of 1,850 for 2023 plus another 2 lots of 1,850 for the subsequent two years of our term.
For 2023 plus
1,850 for each of 2024 and 25.
This is for the sand?
Yeah.
Everyone on the training.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think that's how we worded it when we did the funding for the community patrol.
If you come back every year, we all have, so if we're going to say yes, why not just?
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
What happens if the price goes up as things do
Yes, come back.
Yes, come back and say.
for the extra bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
No one second that. Anyone second that?
Yeah.
Yep, thanks.
And sorry, and that motion included all the A, B, C, D. Just the one member on
C, D.
So that's the A, but I think that's been captured. Yeah, but.
Hold on, yeah, no, I would like to, can we discuss C?
No, you can,
Yeah, absolutely.
You can discuss B and rest, yeah.
I'm just putting it on the table.
Okay.
Discussions?
Any discussions for?
So for B, are we, are we making an assumption that there'll be another 2 years of that application that's similar?
He hasn't come back every year.
Right.
For that one.
Just
for the
every
sand.
now and then he comes.
For A, for the sand he does, for Hokianga Treks for Kids, it's different.
Oh, I just wondered what the movement was, then I'm a little bit lost.
Yeah, so just for clarity, wording it.
I didn't say it very well.
Yeah, so for A, it's been moved for 3 years, 1850, and all the rest are as they are there. But we can now discuss and make amendments if we want, we're not happy about it.
Can I read that? That the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves a sum of $2,800 plus GST applicable to be paid from the board placemaking fund account to Hokianga Treks for Kids for repairs and maintenance of the horse track to support the following community outcomes. Bright, proud, vibrant communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable.
I move that. Approved.
So we do the.
That's a no-brainer. That drives us so much good out there.
Yeah.
So moved by Jesse.
And I'll second.
All in favour?
Aye.
Aye, carried.
And
That the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves a sum of $2,500 plus GST applicable be paid from the board's community fund account to Maihi Memorial Parks Charitable Trust for Chi Festival 2023 to support the following community outcomes. Proud, vibrant communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable.
Can we get a mover and a seconder for this to discuss it?
I think we could move it with a blank to discuss.
Yes.
I'll second it with a blank to discuss.
You were moving, member usage?
Yeah.
Secondly by Jesse with a blank. All those in favour of that amendment?
Are you happy just to discuss it in open forum?
Sorry, where are we up to with this? It's
So-
been moved with blank.
It's been moved with a blank, that was moved and seconded by John and Jesse,
So now it's discussion, right?
so now it's discussion.
Go on, Jess.
I have questions as I asked the matua that came in about prior funding and he wasn't sure, but particularly I have concerns being a person that has organised events. I understand what's involved. It's a very large event. It's 10 days out, and I understand that he would have put this application in earlier perhaps. However, 10 days out, and we don't know whether tickets have been sold, runners have entered or stalls. I have concerns about how organised this might be from a management perspective. That's my comment.
Does anyone else like to make a comment?
Oh, very similar concerns.
In answer to your question about previous year's funding, I think he's applied lots and been turned down each time. There was 1 year, I think we gave him an amount, $1,000 to organise himself, okay, and to come back using that money, and I think he declined to pick it up, saying that he deserved $10,000. And I think that was it, so I don't think he could pick it up.
No, and the resolution was reversed.
Yeah, so that's the answer to that.
That doesn't give me confidence in terms of from it. It's not the idea. I think the idea is wonderful. I have concerns about management at this stage.
My answer wasn't intended to give you confidence.
Okay, thank you for that conversation and comments in and around this application. So I would like to move what as the recommendation stands. Those for?
Well, that's blank at the moment, so
blank.
we can say zero outcome.
Zero amount?
So decline of those.
Declines the application.
All those in favour?
Do you want to do it?
Okay.
Do you want to give some amount?
Well, I mean, the motion was to fund with a blank, right? So that's the motion on the table. So I mean, the way to do it is simply vote it down. So everybody against it, done, right?
For the 2,500.
Oh, for anything.
No, but it currently it's blank, so there's maybe a neater way to do it is what we've done in the past, we just vote that down. So we put it to the vote and everybody says no.
Okay. Against?
Yeah, I'm against.
Everybody's against. So it's voted down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carried.
So that leaves you with D, I think it was. Everything else has been voted on, has it? Melinda?
No, you haven't, we're on D now.
I'll move.
I'll second.
There we go. Kaikohe.
Yeah, and I from you.
Aye. All in favour? Aye.
Can I have another part? It was mentioned from our Hokianga gym that they had put in an application to amend
Can we just finish this part?
It's related to this?
Oh.
It doesn't look like it's in there.
It's not in there.
She said we are going to.
Oh, okay.
So the members are considering what is in front of them at the moment.
Okay.
So Madam Chair, just clarify for me, the
Please
mover
do.
was Jesse McVeigh, the seconder?
Me.
Thank you.
Carried.
Now we're on to information reports.
I'm happy to move item 8.1.
And I'll second and move.
Do any of you require the report writer in the room? He is in the back room waiting if you need
I've seen it
to.
around for a while. Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Here we are.
Oh, I haven't seen it for a while. Good.
Information reports 8.1.
I'll just let him know to come in. Heidi is the report writer for the Hokianga Ferry Liaison Committee report that you're looking at in your agenda. So he's here to answer any questions, or he can answer any questions the members may have. No, he's coming in now. He's physically present. Apologies. We move so fast through our agenda, we're supposed to let him know.
No, he don't. That's been checking it. Is he very far away?
No, he's just in the next building.
Okay.
He's on his way, he's here.
So,
well, I'd like to move the we lay that on the table for 10 minutes until he gets here and proceed with 8.2.
Yeah, I'll second that. Everybody's happy with that?
Yep.
Okay, I'll move 8.2 as recommended.
Second.
I don't have much to say about it, it's just a report run. And we'll be kind of called to, as we asked once before, to get them updated just before the meeting so we know what we actually got rather than what we had 2 months ago. Even if it's just an informal report, I understand that it has to be in 12 days beforehand or whatever, but I'm sure it'll be pretty give us a spreadsheet, informal spreadsheet to know what we've got.
And through the chair, there's an intention to change the way the reports look to make them more updated. Currently sitting with acting finance officer.
Okay. And Madam Chair, through you, I just agree with that. I think it'd be nice just to see that so we've got some idea of what current funding is at SIP.
So we'll just put that recommendation to a vote.
Aye.
All in favour?
Yeah,
Carried. Thank you. Hi, Aaron. So we've just got Aaron who's just entered the room. And our members have.
Aaron has entered the building. Of course, Elvis is
Just
middle
got
name.
just got some questions that some of the members would like to ask.
Sure. Yeah, thanks. Well, I had one question, and it was just out of curiosity, and that was, we should have travel on the ferry, and it was absolutely packed. I didn't think I'd get on, but somehow they managed to squeeze me in between some place there and direct me into the driving. So I was quite impressed that they could do all of it. But I was just curious, Aaron, in terms of the numbers on the ferry, have they dramatically increased, or maybe just for that, given that COVID slowed everything down? And what is the funding looking like for the ferry?
Yeah, so we've had, obviously through COVID, it's got an uncertain time. We did see quite a drop in patronage, except for I think it was the 2021 financial year when we had a surge in domestic tourism, which sort of created a slot. You might remember it was a bit of a campaign for a travel local campaign. But this financial year, this peak season, the last summer is going to be where the weather has significantly impacted people's travelling arrangements. So we've seen quite a downturn in our peak season, is what we usually see.
Yeah, okay.
Kia ora, I'm Jessie McVeigh, one of the South Hokianga representatives, and about 10 minutes ago got put onto the management committee of the Ferry Liaison Group along with member Gundry, who's online. So I have a few questions. How often do you meet? But I'll ask them all at once and you can just tell me.
Sure.
How often are the meetings? I've heard kōrero about the wish for a second ferry to run, so I just wondered how these decisions are actually made, and there's been ongoing concerns about the safety of both sides of the harbour, the Narrows and Rawene, and you know, school buses pull and kids get on and off at the same time. People are getting on and off the ferry. It's a very messy area there, so I wondered what is the process as a community board member to actually bring these concerns and try and resolve these issues that have been going for a long time?
Just with regards to safety, are they road safety? Are we talking about motorists around the loaning terminals?
You're familiar with the
Yes.
ferry? Yeah. So where people park is also where people drive in around to get to the garage. It's also where the school buses stop and the kids get off actually in the same area and move, and it's right by the shop where people are crossing backwards and forwards in Rawene side, crossing backwards and forwards between the shop and the cafe because various things including parking. So it's a very high use area and it's not safe how it runs at the moment.
Okay. I can have a talk to my colleague who looks after road safety. My involvement is with the actual ferry operation itself, but I can mention that I'm aware that there are traffic calming projects that have been talked about. I don't know whereabouts those are.
That won't fix those traffic calming, those ones that have been proposed won't fix the issue down by the ferry to my knowledge.
Okay.
Who would that person be that you?
That'd probably be Elizabeth Stacey or Nick Marshall, who's the team leader for the safety team. Yeah.
It would be, through you, I take it to be very hard, because of the limited space there, without reclamation, it'd be very hard issue to fix.
Yeah. My assumption. There is some good news to report on the northern end in terms of traffic safety. They've actually basically reduced the speed limit within the ferry terminal, so that's coming down to, I believe, 40 kilometres. There's going to be some opportunity put up, I believe, by the end of May, is my understanding, so that's quite a good outcome. That was something that was discussed quite a lot at the Hokianga Ferry Liaison Group, people concerned with the speed and logging trucks travelling through. So.
And queuing up onto the.
That's right, yeah.
So where is the boundary of that?
I think.
So where will the 45 area cover?
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I think the signage, so you've got basically two blind corners on the west. So I think the first sign, I believe, would be west of that blind corner. This is just off the top of my head, and and I think the other sign is planned to go close to where there's current queuing signs, which they implement as part of a temporary traffic management plan during peak season. Yeah.
And that's a FMDC.
Yes, that's my understanding. Yeah. You also had a question around how often we meet, and that's quarterly. With regards to a second ferry, that's something that's a little bit outside of my area because I'm mainly an operational person, but we are. My colleague Keith, who's the senior transport planner. So a part of his work, as I understand it, is the overall long-term harbour crossing. So that encompasses the whole strategic piece of work. So the outcome of his work, I can't see what the outcome of his work would be, but basically there is a long-term strategic piece of work that looks over the strategy of the harbour crossing, whether it be a ferry.
Yeah, but we can probably say what it's not, right? It's not going to be a
correct.
Yeah. As much as you try.
Are there any other questions from the members? Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Madam Chair, that was moved over by members Usage and Edmonds. So we'll just put that to vote.
Aye.
All those in favour? Aye. Member Edmonds? In favour? Carried. Item 8.3 we are on now.
Option is recommended.
Maybe second that.
Members Edmonds and Usage. All in favour? Any comments? Sorry. Any comments in regards to 8.3, the statement of financial performance activities by the board for the period ending 31 December 2022, And the recommendation that was just moved is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board receives the report, Kaikohe-Hokianga Statement of Financial Performance Activities by ward for the period ending 31st of December 2022. All in favour? Carried. Agenda item 9, I will close at the karakia. Last one, we are, too excited.
Yeah, I'm happy to move.
8.4, okay, move.
Sorry, what was 8.4?
8.4, that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board received the report, Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board Action Sheet, update February 2023.
Yeah, and I do have a question on that item there, one action item there. My understanding is that's been...
Which one? On page 130.
130. I understand that has been resolved, is that correct?
We are awaiting return of signed funding contract from Pioneer Village.
We're waiting for a confirmation that we can sign a contract.
I see.
Okay, so it's not resolved.
Because there was a shifting goalpost. Okay, and we understood that there was there to be all sorts of contracts and all that stuff, which we can't supply. Not until that's money to pay for after.
So you're waiting to receive confirmation on whether the...
Oh, it's with Kelly. It's with Kelly. So I don't know the full story. She's the manager.
Can I ask a question that I can't see any? So that $20,000 allocation does that come out of our placemaking fund?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, just 1 second.
That'll be last term.
I'm actually not sure. Clinton, do you have a response? Does that 20,000 come out of the placemaking fund for the
Pioneer Village?
Allocate 20,000 to enable future planning by the CE or his nominee. I think that came out of...
It should be on 8.2, should have a report to him there.
Is this something, like I recall this previously, is this something that's still being carried through from prior?
Yes, yeah. So there's a previous resolution that goes with this.
So this is a one-off thing that's still working its way through. It's here because the contract hasn't been signed.
It's just a one.
Oh, sorry. I'll take a vote on it. So we'll just take it to vote. All those in favour? Aye. Carried. We're done. You can bring your meeting to a close or the karakia if you wish. So we'll just bring our hui this morning to a close. Kia tau, kia tātou katoa. Te atawhai o te tātou arakia. Ua e ukarai te aroha o te atua. Me te whiwhingai tahitanga ki te wairua tapu. Ake. Amen. Meeting is closed. Josh, could you